The biggest news, Brian? What's the biggest news? Coaching carousel. He retired. What? Nick Saban retired? Are you serious? Nick Saban retired? No. Yeah. We got to talk Raptors. I don't want to. No. Push that. We got to get to that too because of my Titans. Brian, when the face of the league gets disrespected, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it first thing. Yes, face of the league. Scotty Barnes, the future face of the league. I could draw Scotty Barnes. I don't know what you're talking about. I could definitely draw Scotty Barnes. I mean, I think we need to do this. I don't know how we're going to do this going live. And I think your audio, for some reason, isn't coming through. Let me see here.
Heard me on the live.
Oh, you hear yourself on the live? Are you on the double testing? If anybody's says, can you hear
Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, wait, there you go. I just heard me.
Okay, yeah. Now I got your sound. For some reason, I wasn't getting any levels out of you. Hello and welcome. We're talking Toronto Raptors on the Fan Le Batard Show.
We're talking Nick Saban on the Fan Le Batard Show.
26 points. Future face of the league against the Lakers.
6 college football championships. The face of an economy.
And how many free throws do you think this guy took all game? How many?
Nick
Brian?
Saban?
No, not Nick Saban. Scotty Barnes. I don't care.
Nick
about
Saban would have got all the
Saban.
calls, okay? Scotty Barnes, 1.
2. That's how many he made.
Oh.
He only made 1. And you're telling me can the refs just tell the Raptors if they're gonna let us win today, or if we should even just show up to the stadium? Because I am sick and I've had it up to here. I've got my Kawhi Leonard jersey on. My other Raptors jersey is a Kyle Lowry jersey, so I am totally current. I'm definitely gonna get an RJ Barrett jersey here. Maybe a Quigley. Is it Quigley or Quickly that we just picked up in the draft? Quickly. Isaiah
Quickly.
Pretty sure it's Quickly. Yeah. Might be Quigley.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
But why don't you know this?
Brian, I've also been grinding tape for the Cyclones.
Okay, so you're grinding tape for a team that had to change its name so it's easier for people to pay attention to it. But you wouldn't pay attention to who you just drafted from a team that just won a title, an NBA title 3 years ago.
It's a new player. I don't pay attention to the Knicks. I just know we traded. I got RJ Barrett right, Quickly or Quigley. I'll get it right because those two dudes are going off. I'm pretty sure it's Quickly. Quigley doesn't sound right.
RJ Barrett, 5-0, right? Oh, wait, no. If you don't, let's erase last night's game, right? But before last night's game,
let's go through the box score of the Raptors.
I saw the stat, 5-0. First time a player's joined a new team and went 5-0 and amassed like over like 100 plus blah blah blah. It's one of them ESPN stats.
Wow, dude, Brian, Saban is retiring.
You heard it here first.
I'm trying to go to the Toronto Raptors, pull up all their box scores. I'm on ESPN, and here I see Coach Saban is retiring. 7
even
national
ESPN
titles.
is 7.
6 at Alabama. 1 at LSU.
Oh, okay. I don't count that one.
You don't count the LSU one?
Not in my personal record book.
Not only the Bama ones?
Do it against Alabama.
Oh, yeah, I see what you did there.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Listen, I can't recall. The missus just told me Pluto, the planet Pluto, is currently ending a 15-year occupancy in the star chart of the cardinal signs. January 20th, it will be departing the star chart of the cardinal signs. And I think whenever you have something major like that going on, you get days like today. Have you been paying attention to everything that's going on today?
I've just been so upset about how the refs did Scotty Barnes dirty, the future face of the league.
First of all, if he's the future face of the league, why isn't he one of the 5 NBA players that will be starring in the new Netflix show akin to the NFL's version of quarterback?
Brian, you're breaking all kinds of news. First, I heard who are the 5 players?
We got LeBron James. Pluto is definitely a planet. They gonna get me with that revisionist history. We got LeBron James. We got Jimmy Butler. We got Anthony Edwards. We got Domantas Sabonis.
Was that you're on number 5? You can't. Scotty Barnes.
Who was the last one? Emmanuel Kick quickly. I can't remember who the last one was, but he's there too. It's not Scotty Barnes. No one. Sorry.
Sports,
I've seen
man.
Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes doesn't. I'm in a commercial with Scotty Barnes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah.
No, it's Pascal Siakam.
And was it Scotty Barnes or was it?
I think is he in there too?
I think Scotty Barnes was in it, bro.
I can't remember. You know,
Yeah,
just get so used to being with all these NBA players that I just, But no, listen, there's a lot going on today. There's a lot going on today, and listen, I'll clear out 1-4 flat. In the words of Gilbert Arenas, 1-4 flat. I'll clear out ISO here. You handle it. Talk about your Raptors.
Listen, Brian, when you want to talk about the Toronto Raptors, 15-22, not where we want to be trading, but this trade, people are saying, that good things are happening. We started off RJ Barrett and quickly they're really taking it to people now. I think looking at their last couple games here for the Raptors, like I see a lot of dubs when the refs decide
Jason
they
Tatum.
don't want to screw us. Jason Tatum's last one. There you go.
That was the 5th.
There you go.
Just wanted to reset your dribble. Back to you.
Brian, we get no respect. We are a champion recently. We show up to the Lakers, and what do the refs do? They just get all whistle happy and not let us play our game. And when is LeBron going to hand over? This should have been, what this should have been was LeBron James passing the baton to Scotty Barnes. And the refs took that moment away from what should have been. Yeah, from Scott. Should have been LeBron, Scotty, you take the league and run with it, bro. It's yours. But we were robbed of that, Brian. And, I hope they rectify that tonight as they take on the Clippers, as they're now 3-2 since making the trade. And we don't want to talk about how we're the ones who broke Detroit's losing streak. Don't bring that up. That's why we traded. New team now. That's old in the past. Did I perhaps bring that on them because I made a short about the Boston Celtics desperately not wanting to be a joke again? Because if you watch,
they should have lost that game.
Yeah, they should have lost that game.
I was watching it like a hater.
It had like a playoff atmosphere. I was watching it too. I was like, this is a short right here. Boston's so desperate to not be a joke again because they were a joke last season, losing to the Heat by 20 in Game 7. Joke. Playoff atmosphere just so they aren't a joke again. And then what happens? My Raptors become the joke, Brian.
While we're on the topic of jokes, what team is the NFL equivalent of the Boston Celtics?
The Dallas
a
Cowboys,
team that's always
Brian.
Relax. Don't do that. Don't disrespect me.
Oh,
don't
come on.
We gotta get beyond the
history.
We gotta
what
get beyond the
lately.
We gotta get beyond the divisional round before we can be considered a joke. Okay, the Celtics get to championships.
That's why they are a joke.
They get to
Brian.
finals. No.
Okay.
We gotta talk about. There has to be a team that gets to the rings. They smell them, but they can't touch them.
No, they're
And it's
always up there
always
as one of the
something.
best teams in the NFL. They have good regular seasons. They sniff rings and believe they should be Super Bowl contenders, but they're just never there, Brian.
But if they're never there, but always there, like those two things can't add up. You can't say that in the same sentence. Like, and that's one thing I will never understand. I got a buddy who's a Giants fan, and he's like, we're talking before the week 18 game. He's like, I just want a double-digit win season. I just want a double-digit win season and a season where we beat the Cowboys, because they haven't beat the Cowboys with Dak Prescott as a quarterback in like 20 games. I was like, I understand. And I said, you know what? That's why I will never, ever forget my privilege. The Cowboys have had multiple double-digit winning seasons. They've been first seed, second seed, fifth seeds all the time. Like, unless Dak gets hurt or something crazy happens, Romo gets hurt, they're always somewhere in contention. They always have Pro Bowlers. They always draft well. So they're always in a position to where when the season starts, I'm sitting there looking for the playoffs. That's a privileged position to have, because a majority of the league can't say that. So when you say all this stuff about they're always Super Bowl contenders and well, if you're in a situation where you have the most wins in the last 20 years without being in a Super Bowl, wouldn't you have the mindset that you are a deserving Super Bowl contender? Clearly, you know how to win. Clearly, you know how to draft. Clearly, they know how to play. They just don't know how to play when they're supposed to. So, I mean, listen, all I'm saying is the
so
Raptors.
They're a joke then, right?
No.
So what were you going to say about the
No.
Raptors? The Raptors.
So the Raptors have an interesting
more championships than the Dallas Cowboys in the last 25 plus years.
The Raptors have more championships in the last 25 plus years than the Niners too. But no one cares about that fact either. Because if anything, I think the Niners are the NFL's Boston Celtics. Just let it ruminate. Let it ruminate. Just let it ruminate, right? Hot stuff coach that can't seem to really tie it all together, right? Crazy trades that might be the thing that gets you there. Random upsetting losses by a team that you should beat, but they just seem to have your number sometimes.
What's the random upsetting loss by a team that seems to have their number?
4 years ago, they lost to the Rams when they were a 1 seed. I made that up, but don't check it. 5 years ago, they lost to the Cardinals when they were a 2nd seed. I also made that up. Don't check it. But what I'm saying is they get to the Super Bowl, they lose. They get to championships games, they lose. They supposedly have this high octane, greatest thing on earth. We have 18 players that average 1,000 yards at all positions, and they always get to the finish line and fumble the proverbial ball. Sounds a little bit like the Boston Celtics. Plus, coach, white. GM, white. Quarterback, white. Boston Celtics,
White.
like white people.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Oh.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
It's the Cowboys, Brian. Stephen A's always laughing about them. They're the joke of the NFL.
But Stephen A's not always laughing about the Celtics. So you can't, you can call the Cowboys a joke, sure, whatever. But the Celtics aren't referred to as a joke until they fall. Like the Niners. Just saying. It's going to come true this year, too. Watch. All right, so this year, this is our first together episode of 2024. How was your New Year's? Good?
Good. Yep. Off to good start. Impending
Any
change.
resolutions?
No official resolutions. Just be healthier, lose some weight. 2022 saw me I put on a lot of LBs because I had that hernia and didn't work out and then had to recover from surgery. But honestly, that's all just an excuse for poor eating.
No, I understand. I'm right there with you.
So be
I'm right there with
healthier. Drop a couple LBs, work out. Yeah. And continue to grow our show, get bigger. We're up to almost 800 subscribers, Brian. Just 200
Those are
away
numbers.
from that 1,000 mark. And we just got to get, again, if you're a fan of this show, how can you help us out? You know what you do? You head over to our YouTube channel, you subscribe, and then what do? Late at night, you just turn the volume all the way down on your phone, all the way down, Brian. Then you go to our full episode playlist. You press play on that first one or halfway through or whatever's your favorite one. Start there and let that puppy play all through the night so we can get those watch hours.
I'll go the opposite. I say, leave the volume on. Let us serenade you as you go to sleep. As you cuddle with your boo thang, let her hear the voices of Nasty Nate and Be Green in her ear as you maybe blow on her supple navel, as you watch the hairs on the back of her neck arise with splendor and excitement, as she quivers in a way that you haven't seen her quiver since the first time you saw her. Gaze longingly into her eyes as the sunlight off the moon, you heard it, the sunlight off the moon, because that's how planets work, reflects in that beautiful iris of hers. Let it play. Get those numbers up.
That's right.
So, 2024, we've had a week and a half of Levitard shows in 2024. Talk about it. What you loving? What's your about? What's your kind of like, hey, I want more of this? And the answer just can't be Greg Cody. So just
wow, just way to take away my answer, because actually I'm usually not, you know me, talking Mike Ryan, but honestly, now you're taking away my whole answer. I was like, for me right now in 2024, it is Greg Cody. Dude's come out of the gate firing. Like, has he had? Yeah, he's had multiple performances. What? It's the 10th. So has he been? He's been on 3 times if you count their their watch party that they did. Which
I saw you in there.
Mm-hmm. It was funny what they did with him. Although towards the end, I was a little like, okay, just we got it. You don't need to keep going back and bothering him, because I don't want to see him lose it. Because at one point I was like, if he loses it, I'm on Greg's side here. You flashed him enough. Let the man work now.
Are you though? Because you shouldn't be here then. If you wanted to work, take your ass to Hard Rock Stadium and work. You ain't got to worry about none of that.
Look, he did an admirable job, but he's come out of the gates the
Admiral
show,
or admirable?
admirable. even above that. Look,
Admiral Cody.
Greg Cody is firing on all cylinders. Bidet up. Hee-haw 3. Just the
I just feel like he's playing the hits. He's just playing the hits.
Hey, the hits are growing, though. Over and out. He's adding to them, right? I mean, bidet up, over and out. You never know.
That bidet up is also not hitting like the other ones. Let's be honest. It's not.
It's a good change of pace.
Oh, I don't know what it is about Greg Cody. It just chafes my nipples. It's just
You don't have this thing where when you see Greg, it brings you joy, because again, I always watch the local hour live, and without fail, this happens. I look forward to Greg Cody Tuesdays, and then I forget. And I turn on the local hour, and then boom, first shot. When the show kicks on, Greg's in the shot. I'm like, there's Greg, right?
I will say, I don't.
Brings me joy.
I like you forget. Like every week, it's like the Truman Show. Every week, maybe it's not like the Truman Show at all. It's like 40 First Dates, 50 First Dates. That movie, you know that movie. Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday, I forget he is even a member of the show until I turn on, like, oh, Greg's here. And I just feel like sometimes it takes away from some of the conversations they could be having that I want to get some input on, because they're f***ing around with Greg Cody. I didn't even hear his back in my day, which we'll get into, his most recent one. I didn't hear the briefcase one because they were f***ing around with it so much that I didn't know when it was coming, and I just got all bewildered and blustered, and I was just like, I can't do this no more.
Is that Greg's fault? Sounds like a you problem, Brian. Or is it not? Maybe not a you problem. Is that Greg's fault, or is that the show's fault?
It is Greg's fault, because he didn't have to describe the contents of his wallet. He could have got into his back in my day. As an artist,
but it's one man. So you want him to just fight off the whole entire show and just start going into the briefcase back in my day.
He had an opportunity He had a clear minute and 30 something seconds to get his back in my day off. And instead, he said, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Listen, I've had many of moments where they go, hey, I know this was supposed to be a 60-second spot, but we need to get it down to 30. And you know what I say? Let's do it. Because I'm an artist. That's what I got to do. So you know what you do, Greg? You get on your back in my day and you get that bitch off. And guess what? If they do cut you off, then guess what? You did your obligation. I'm here for the back of my day because he is best when he is showing his talent. And that's his ability to write. Talking, not so much. But writing, he's a gem. I love it. But I also think we're getting a little bit of the Eagles type of situation here. I think he's starting the year strong because we know what's going to happen in month 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And then all of a sudden it'd be, hey, we haven't gotten it back in a day in like 8 weeks. What's going on? Well, you know, I don't work during the holidays. What holiday is it? Ramadan. What? I called it.
We'll see. Well, you know what? I've actually written a back in my day myself, Brian. And I wrote this a long time ago, back when Greg was putting off things. It was like, you know what? We could start doing back in my days. Should we save that for a week where if Greg doesn't do it, we drop a back? Because here's what I was thinking.
Hear it right now.
You want to hear
it right now.
You want to hear it right now.
Yeah. Sorry, my body's making all sorts of noise.
Let's see. So I've got it pulled up all ready to go. And
okay.
Love Greg Cody. But I think we want to throw down a challenge to Greg Cody this year. Who will write more back in my days? Will it be Greg Cody? And I'm going to throw this out to you. Will it be Greg Cody or the fans? I'll see if I can write some more. But I'm going to also challenge the fans. If you got a back in my day, write one up. Send it in. Us. Yeah.
We'll read it.
Record yourself reading it. We'll put it on the show.
Get to it, Craig Jenkins.
And let's see in 2024 who's gonna write more back in my days, Greg or the show. So here it is, Brian. Can you give me like a little? And now it's time for kind of spoof the show. Nasty Nates.
And now it's time for Nasty Nates back in my day.
Trail Mix, a healthy alternative snack that stood the test of time. At least until now. I can remember going out on the trail, Brian, or a long drive as a kid, and my mom would pack the trail mix in a Ziploc bag. She'd throw in several handfuls of those sweet, salty nuts, a few handfuls of raisins, and if she was feeling extra generous, we'd get those sweet M&Ms. I'd fight with my siblings over the few sprinklings of sweetness contained within, and inevitably, the bag would become a greasy mess towards the end, filled with some raisins, but mostly dry, salty nuts, which you'd have to dig in and look for buried treasure. And if you got lucky, maybe you found that brown M&M that everyone thought was a raisin, and you hoarded it to yourself. Horace Kephart, he's probably rolling over in his grave right now if he saw what his beloved trail mix has become. Gone is the Gorp. The good old peanuts and raisins of my childhood. Take a walk down the aisle of your Target and you'll see what I mean. Neapolitan sundae, caramel macchiato, s'mores, cookies and cream. They probably got some Valentine's Day ones if you look through it. And no, these aren't names of random snacks. These are trail mixes in Target's aisle. They're more deconstructed candy bar than healthy, energizing snack. If I wanted a Neapolitan sundae, I'd buy an ice cream, not some trail mix. This is what passes for trail mix today. And don't get me started on Kind bars. I reached into a seasonal bag of caramel trail mix over the holiday break the other day and almost choked on the sweetness. On the list of ingredients, a plain salty nut was nowhere to be found. Instead, it was littered with caramel-flavored coated pretzel balls, butter toffee peanuts, caramel-flavored confectionery cups, white chocolate caramel-flavored chips, and chocolate chunks. You'd have to dig to get a salty peanut in that. And even then, it was coated in a candy shell. I imagine Mr. Peanut is out wandering the streets, his top hat and monocle long gone. The plain peanut no longer valued as part of the trail mix, and he's panhandling and begging grocers, please put some of his kin back into the trail mixes. Plain, please. Oh, I wonder what the Danish students of the 1800s would think if they saw what was happening to their beloved Studenter Harvey. Take an old Is it Australian? I'm struggling with my reading here. Take an old Australian or New Zealander down the snack aisle, and I bet he'd be scratching his noggin when he saw what we've done to his scroggin. How about the next time you go for a hike, you kiss? Keep it simple, stupid. Grab several handfuls of plain salty peanuts, few more handfuls of raisins, and a smattering of M&Ms for that extra vim and vigor. Throw it all in a large Ziploc bag, shake it up, and go and get moving. And when you find yourself nearing the end of the bag and you think all that's left is a handful of salty nuts, you'll discover the bliss of the sweetness of a surprise lone raisin or M&M in the mix and be carried to the peak in a wave of elation. I'm Nasty Nate, and that's how it was back in my day.
Nathan, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. And to my knowledge, he's done 2 so far this year, correct?
Just one.
Oh, just one?
So we're tied.
I'm not the type.
1-1.
I'm not the type to. I'm a competitive guy, and I got it back in my day too.
You do.
You didn't even know this.
I didn't. Yeah.
Our fan Craig Jenkins inspired me. Can you give me a show intro?
Mm-hmm. And now it's time for Cousin B's Back in My Day.
Back in my day, Pluto was the little guy on the block, the runt of the planetary litter. We grew up learning about the 9 planets in our solar system, with Pluto quietly orbiting in the outer reaches. It was the David amongst the Goliaths, the underdog of the celestial playground. I remember sitting in my elementary school class, reciting the names of the planets in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and of course, the crescendo, Pluto. It had its own special place, the 9th rock from the sun, and we thought nothing of it. It was just a part of the cosmic family, doing its thing out there in the vastness of space, just chilling. But oh, how the times have changed. Suddenly, in the blink of what seems like an astronomical eye, Pluto got demoted. Someone up there in the scientific ivory tower of judgment decided that it didn't meet all the criteria to be a full-fledged planet. Poor Pluto got the boot from the planetary club, like it was some interstellar outcast, some miscreant that didn't belong. Nowadays, when you mention Pluto, you're met with a chorus of, oh, it's not a planet anymore. Well, back in my day, Pluto was a planet, and we liked it that way. No one complained. It may have been small, but it had heart. Just like Rocky. Just like Rudy. It was the tiny orb that could, the scrappy outlier of our solar system. Sure, we understand that science evolves and definitions change. We get this, but it's hard to not feel a twinge of nostalgia for the days when Pluto was just another member of the planetary gang. We didn't need a committee of astronomers telling us what was in a cosmic order. No, Pluto was our pal, our distant companion in the night sky, and we were perfectly content with that. So here's to you, Pluto, the little planet that could. In our hearts, you'll always be the 9th rock from the sun, no matter what those science nerds say. Back in my day, we didn't need a cosmic council to tell us what was what. Pluto, you'll forever be a planet in our memories, even if you're not on the official roster anymore. I'm Cousin B. That's how it was back in my day.
Well said, Brian. Well said. So the
Shout out to
gauntlet has been thrown, Greg Cody. We're up 2024.
We're beating your ass.
2-1. 2-1. Van Le Batard has more back in my days than Greg Cody. I got a feeling
Hey.
if we put ourselves, will they be as quality as Greg's? Maybe. I don't know. But
I don't know.
quantity,
Those are too strong. Like, remember when CJ Stroud opened up that game against the Panthers with a 74-yard bomb to Nico Collins and was like, hey, watch this.
You mean the Colts?
Yeah.
Against the Colts.
What'd I say? My bad. They all seem the same these days. Yeah, them, the Colts. That touchdown ain't the same as a 9-drive, couple holding, couple pass interference calls, touchdown drive. It ain't the same. What we just did right there, those are some CJ Stroud and Nico Collins bombs. Never thought I'd say that in my life, but here we are.
Well, I think it's time for us to now transition. Speaking of bombs, we've got to talk about the NFL playoffs. And I think we need to first start. The proper way to start with this, Brian, is to kind of predictions, but also to help the show recover from the bomb that was the end of the Dolphins season, right?
Okay.
It's hard to not feel like the Dolphins just bombed again and are once again now all the expectations that are there. And what are they? A road playoff team, right? But you know what? Prediction number 1, I'm predicting Miami beats the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I'm predicting. Why?
That's a big prediction.
This is still the year of Miami, Brian. This is still what happened? The Miami Heat as an 8 seed made it to the finals. The Florida Panthers as an 8 seed made it to the finals. We know what this Dolphin team is capable of, and yeah, they're banged up. They're not healthy. But the Kansas City Chiefs have not been good, Brian.
That was last year. You can't be doing that. You can't be extending this
it's still,
year
but this is
into. You're treating this like the Grammy nominations. Like
it is, Brian.
It was the beginning of last year because that would encapsulate the run.
I'm trying to pick the show up here, Brian, and you're just pooping all over it, saying
I'm sorry,
you can't do that. Of course I
are
can.
gonna lose.
This is still the year. Don't listen to Brian. This is the year of Miami still. As a 6 seed, Miami's going to make a run. And then after that, I'm sorry, Miami, I don't know what's going to happen to your sports. The magic is maybe going to run out. But I'm predicting that this Dolphin team is going to get it together and make a run, Brian. I think they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Taylor Swift announces that she's going to drop another album after spring break.
I heard a theory. Let me put on my Tony hat.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a theory. Dímelo, mi gente. I heard a theory. A Cuban conspiracy. I heard a theory that the Dolphins are going to beat the Chiefs, which in turn, no, I'm sorry. The Dolphins are going to lose to the Chiefs, which in turn sends the Chiefs up to play the Bills. The Bills are going to beat the Chiefs. But during that game, Taylor Swift is going to complain about how cold and how rancid and lonely Buffalo is. She breaks up with Travis Kelce because she doesn't want to date a loser.
What?
She makes comments about Buffalo, driving Buffalo's housing market down because people don't want to be in Buffalo anymore. And according to my sources,
and
all
buys
of Buffalo
the entire city.
Oh, it didn't go that far. But according to my sources, all of those in Buffalo that I spoke about with this conspiracy theory were 100% fine with their property values tanking if it means they could beat Kansas City and Buffalo. Nothing like a win-win-win because everyone gets what they want there. Taylor gets more riding material. Buffalo gets their payback. Travis Kelce gets free from the Taylor Swift thingy.
Who says he wants that?
He's not enjoying himself.
Well, what's that based off of? It seems to me like he's enjoying himself.
He's not.
He's not. You're just gonna blatantly. I think he's enjoying himself. Looks like. Careful, Brian. Are you about to bring the Taylor Swift? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know I'm a supporter of the Taylor Swift. I let the wifey go to all the concerts she wants, and she's got all the.
Interesting.
Okay, all right. Poor phrase of word. My wife, big time.
Is allowed to?
I let her out of the house.
I let her
to
out the
go
house.
to Taylor Swift. Look at me.
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift will no longer be a couple this time next year.
You know what? I think I'm gonna. Nope. I'm gonna tell you right now. They're making it, Brian. That's what I've heard. They're making it. This is the one.
They won't make it another 3 months.
You want to put something on that?
Yeah. If Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are still together by, let's just round up. If they are still together and considered a couple by May 1st, I will sing and perform a Taylor Swift song of your choosing, the fans choosing, on the show.
Because we are never.
Oh, I know what you're going to do. All right, so my prediction is a couple things.
Okay, let's hear it. NFL playoffs, what do you think? Dolphins making
Cleveland.
a run.
Cleveland loses. KC, bust that ass. Pittsburgh wins. Tampa Bay wins.
Wait, did you say
The
Pittsburgh
Rams.
wins?
Yes.
Even though
The Rams win. The Cowboys win. Just put it in your DraftKings. Parlay that bitch up. Right now I'm looking at plus 650. So if you bet a unit, you getting back 3.8. I don't know if that math is right, but whatever. Book it and you'll find yourself a rich person.
You know,
Clip this.
I do think the Cowboys win, Brian. I think a lot of people against the spread, I think like 2 people picked the Packers to keep it close.
Stu picked the Cowboys to lose outright, right?
Yeah, he picked them to lose outright, and maybe, I don't know who it was before him, picked, maybe it was Billy or Tony.
It was Chris Cody.
Chris Cody. I don't think so. I don't like this Packers team. Who are they beating? I mean, I'm not going to pull up their schedule, but their division isn't all that. The Lions.
My sources on the ground in Green Bay was at the facility, and they overheard them saying, we needed the Rams. We did not want to face, we needed Detroit. We did not want to face the Cowboys because we have zero answer for CeeDee Lamb.
That's what the Rams said, you're saying? Who's
No,
saying
this is what the Packers were saying. The Packers were saying this in Green Bay. Don't mess up my information. Let me say it again. My sources on the ground were telling me that in Green Bay, this week leading up to this game, there's chatter saying, hey, we really did not want to face the Cowboys. We wanted to face the Lions because we have zero answer for CeeDee Lamb.
Lock it up.
Here we go.
Hee-haw 3.
Do you think this is the first year we see both number 1 seeds make it to the Super Bowl?
You know, I don't think so. There's been, although those 2 teams have played, I got a feeling that one of them is not going to get there. People have thrown out that whole conspiracy theory of Ravens, Niners because of the purple and the red out there too. I got a feeling one of them's not going to get there. I don't know why I have that feeling. I couldn't tell you who, I guess, you know what? Here we go.
San Francisco's not going to get there. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to lose to the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game.
Buffalo. I don't think the
that.
AFC is deep. If I had to pick a team that I don't think is going to make it there, because there's a lot of, well, actually, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm saying, Brad. But I just don't feel like Baltimore is going to make it there. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
Hold on. Let's do it right now. Let's do our playoff draft. Quick. I'll flip a coin. Hey Siri, call it in the air. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Call it in the air.
Heads.
Hey Siri, flip a coin. It went to go call somebody. Heads. You go first. Out of those 14 playoff teams, pick yours.
It's like to win the Super Bowl.
Just pick a team. Pick a
team.
Pick a team to win the Super Bowl.
49ers.
49ers. I pick the Ravens. It's a snake draft. I pick the Cowboys.
Oh, even the Cowboys. Bills.
It's a snake draft.
Oh, so now I gotta go again. Browns.
Browns. Wow. I got the Chiefs. And then I got Miami. Your turn.
Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles.
Smart pick. Which then leaves me with the freaking... I'll take the Rams and the Texans, which leaves you with Tampa Bay and Green Bay.
Tampa Bay and Green Bay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, and I got Pittsburgh, I think, right? Yeah. Okay. There you go. Those are our teams.
Wait, though, is that leaves? Yeah.
That's all of them.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that's all of them. We got our team.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we gotta devise something to go to the spoils of the winner when this is. But we'll figure that out. Maybe the listeners can help us out with figuring out who gets what. See if there's a reward or a punishment. Sometimes we don't always need to punish people. Pocky challenge, the Pocky one chip challenge. Do it.
I've done that for my students.
I know.
Have you ever done it?
I've done the hot sauce variant.
Okay. It's intense.
I recorded it. It's content. One day maybe I'll share it with you. I cry. Snot comes out. A whole bunch of bad stuff. It's not one of my finest moments. Before we get off this football talk, MVP. This is probably one of the more cloudier years when it comes to MVP.
Nah, it's Lamar.
Shouldn't be.
It's Lamar.
And it isn't, but okay. I'll accept that.
You think it's Dak?
I think in a scenario where my argument is more against the strength of Lamar versus the strength for Dak. And I know that's tough, but in this world where we live in, sometimes someone just being worse is sometimes the benefit. And knowing that there were 3 games that Lamar played this year where he didn't score a touchdown at all. And in those 3 games, they were 2-1 and outscored their opponents like 60 something to like 10. That means what? That means they're playing with a heavy ass defense and a good ass run game. And I look at, I don't know about you, but I drafted Tony Pollard 2nd round in my fantasy league. He was across the leagues I saw, he was a 1st and 2nd round pick because the idea was the production was going to be amazing. We saw what happened. No run game to speak of. So if we're talking about what people have going into the choosing of the MVP, if we're going to penalize Brock Purdy for having 1,000 weapons, then I don't know how we can overlook Lamar also having a Hall of Fame coach, the best D in the league, in that run game. So, but that's just me being, because I just want my boy to get his respect.
He'll
never get it.
Is that your lock? Locking it down? Lock it.
Locking it down.
Don't stop.
Locking it down. Locking it down. Locking it down. All right. So,
but to push back on that, Brian.
Oh, snap. Pushing back.
Look, Dak had a good season, but I think the problem with
great season. Why would you have a good season?
With the problem with the MVP discussion is it's usually what have you done for me lately? And you brought up a great point of Lamar having those 3 duds. What the MVP
Cardinals,
people will
Bills,
remember,
Dolphins.
what the MVP voters will remember is how he ended the season by taking a hatchet to the San Francisco 49ers and essentially ending Brock Purdy's MVP campaign, and then taking a hatchet to the Miami Dolphins and dropping 56 on them. Whereas when Dak had his opportunity he lost to Miami in what would be his opportunity to make an MVP statement kind of game late in the season. I think those two big, impressive wins are going to just have so much weight in the mind and create a recency bias that yeah. So that's why
and
I
we're
go
talking
Lamar.
about we're talking about, and we're also talking about a player on a team that's already looked at with skewed eyes, right? It's not like we're talking about a normal person here when it comes to how he's referred to and how the media and how just people as a whole, whole NFL fans at all kind of look at anyone who's wearing a star on a helmet. But what I will say is in that victory that the Ravens over the Dolphins, I mean, you recall how many points the Dolphins scored, right?
19.
19. And that Niners game, you recall how many points the Niners scored?
It was like maybe 19. Yeah.
Exactly. And the Dolphins game against the Cowboys scored 22. Cowboys scored 20. If the defense held them to 19, that's a win. In a game against the Niners,
I'm confused how
49ers
this is pushed back for the MVP.
49.
So what,
No.
Brian? So what?
I'm just arguing about the impact of it's easier to play offense when you got a defense telling them that their offense ain't gonna work. So when the Niners only score 19 on the Ravens,
I mean, couldn't you say Dak has been backed up by probably? I mean, who has the most? Sure, Baltimore has an awesome defense, but I think Dallas has had an unprecedented year as a defense in terms of the
people see the interceptions
and scoring
DeRon
on
Bland
them. A scoring defense.
Okay, but the scoring didn't help in that scenario of losing 22-20 in the Dolphins. But the Niners dropped 42 points on who? On Dak Prescott? He can't. I think that was another record day where, their running game had, just like the Bills game, where their running game had like James Cook, 200 and something yards on the ground, some nonsense like that. I get it. You still got to score points, Dak. But at the same time, once a game gets to that point, when you have a team that's built on playing with a somewhat lead or at least it being tied up, you get into scenarios where it kind of makes judging the results of the game kind of wonky. But yeah, no, if we're having this talk, then you always defer to the better case. And in that case,
win
it's
the
definitely
game,
gonna be
right?
Lamar.
Hang tough, win the game.
Yeah. Because I don't think people if that Dolphins game, which I'll put as whatever, good game, cool, whatever. Tony Pollard run to the damn pylon, don't try to run through somebody and then fumble on the next play. But if the Bills game and that Niners game went like the Dolphins game in the first Eagles game, where they were like toss-ups, I think we would really be having a serious talk. But to your point, primetime players do primetime things. And when you're in that position, Dak, you got to at least let it be known, hey, I still got 3 tutties and 200-something yards, and we just lost a shootout. Because that's where, you know how I feel about Josh Allen. He's gotten all of his claim to fame, not from winning anything, but from the fact that, hey, he's at least going to try to ball out when he can. So, but hopefully Lamar gets it. And if he doesn't, hopefully it makes sense. Because at this point, I don't think Tyreek solidified. If he hit those 2,000 yards, he would have. I don't think Christian McCaffrey,
his whole MVP campaign fell apart. No.
Yeah,
not good enough. For him to be, the Dolphins would have to be, the only way Tyreek as a wide receiver gets MVP is the Dolphins have to be number 1, and he would have to have like 200 more yards receiving than he has now. 1,700, been there, done that. In the end, he stalled out on his historic season, and so did the Dolphins in their season. Tyreek's not an MVP candidate. You just not.
Yeah.
His big games when they needed him, didn't have him. So, and you are right about Dak. He is someone that he has to overcome a negative perception that's built around him because of the Cowboys' struggles in the way that, they're America's team, but they're also America's team to hate as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was on Reddit and I was seeing some Lions fans saying I'm cheering for the Packers, and I'm like, some of the shit I hear that comes out in relationship to teams playing the Cowboys brings out some of the most sacrilegious sports talk I've ever heard in my life, where it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're rooting for a rival over a team that you play once every 4 years. And I don't, like I said, I prefer a word where they didn't talk about the Cowboys at all. Treat them like the motherfucking Jaguars. Don't talk about them. But hey, you need that. When you get the spotlight, you can't complain when it gets a little hot, right? You want shit to be, hey, we wouldn't have so many. I said the Cowboys wouldn't have so many players in broadcast booths if it wasn't for that spotlight.
Look, Brian, we're gonna end this with a prediction, and I'm gonna actually I've given you a hard time for the Cowboys. I'm predicting the Dallas Cowboys beat the Green Bay Packers by 17 or more points. Lock it in. The pick of the day. Pop it. Don't stop. Lock it up.
Okay.
Hee-haw, 3. There's 17 points. Because, look, I'm just not – the Packers, say whatever you want about Jordan Love as a quarterback play. The teams they played down the stretch, they're 9-8. They really even weren't that great. Trash team. They just don't – I'm not track Green Bay Packers, and maybe this is residuals left over from when I bashed them when Aaron Rodgers was there. This is still a trash team. They're not going to hang. There's a lot. The Cowboys, they're a good team. I think they're going to come out. They're going to get it done. I don't think it's going to even be close. I think they're going to blow this team out of the water. They're here. They beat Panthers, Minnesota, Chicago. That's their last 3 wins. That's why they're in the playoffs. So freaking what? They lost to the Giants before that and lost to the Bucks before that. Again, mediocre teams. Oh, sure, they beat Kansas City. That was a little fluky and suspect, though, too. They beat Detroit on Thanksgiving. Detroit trying to get a win on Thanksgiving? Like, come on now. That's a big thing to overcome. They don't have it in them to make their fans happy on Thanksgiving.
I'm with you. Listen,
trash team.
I'm hoping it's an open and close case. I'm hoping by the 3rd, Dak is sitting, CD's sitting, and we're just sitting here waiting to see what's going on. But you never know. It's the NFL, any given Sunday, right? Because in the same breath,
no, Brian,
I'm telling you.
I know this. Lock it up. Put it in. Money in the bank. Green Bay Packers are going to lose. No, lock it up. Lock it up.
Can you send some of that? I know you're hedging your emotions. Some of that
Greg Cody says
confidence.
You never know. You know the Cowboys are going to take it to the Packers. Brian, trust me. Lock it up.
You're not going to do this to me.
Lock it in.
You're not because you benefit if they lose. You benefit
if
the Cowboys lose because you can talk shit. But you also
Brian,
benefit if you predict they're going to win.
Tell you what, no. Let's give me a punishment if this doesn't happen.
Oh,
lock it up. Lock it in.
If the Cowboys don't beat the Packers by 17.5 or more,
just 17 straight. If they beat them I'm predicting 17 or more.
Okay.
It will be
so
more than 2 scores.
All right. Okay.
So 16.5.
If the Cowboys don't defeat the Packers by 16.5 or more, next episode you will be singing a Jessica Simpson song of my choosing.
Deal.
Karaoke style.
Deal.
Okay. Nice. I like it.
Done.
I like it. Hee-haw 3.
And that's going to do it for us, folks. Did you join us live on YouTube? Are you subscribed to us? Do you follow us on Spotify? Are you getting us on Apple? Where do you get us? Do you follow us on all the socials? At
TikTok,
ShaveStop
Instagram.
On Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Van Le Batard Show. Cousin B, where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok at That Guy B Green. You can find me on IG at BGreenVO. You can find me. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I've taken a sabbatical from Twitter. I've deleted the app, and I've been better for it. I've been better for it.
I'm still there, but
I've also
way less active.
I deleted the app so I can only do it on my phone or on browser. But I realized I just replaced it with more time on TikTok. So, but I digress. Hit us up. You know what it is. Make sure y'all let us know what y'all want these punishments to be if our predictions don't go through. We would love to get your input. Don't forget to apply that pressure to Greg Cody and the homies over there at the Dan Le Batard show to let
Send
them
us
know
your back in
that
my days.
they getting their ass whooping the back in my days right now, and we ain't even professional writers. Like that's like
You can find us on the Substack. Speaking of that, you know the Fan Le Batard show's on Substack, Brian.
oh shit.
I've written 2 things up there about Pablo Torre Finds Out and Mike Ryan's Victor Wembanyama take. You can find us there too. I was gonna write more stuff over the break, but I decided to
It's a break
take
for
it
a
easy and chill out. So maybe
Listen, I hope your Raptors turn things around. Heat are
Future
playing
face
right
of
now
the league
with
right here.
with the 2 best rookies in the league right now, Chet versus Jaime Jaquez. So as Jaime Jaquez, he'll drop more than 20 tonight. He'll cement his place as the rookie of the year. Yeah, you heard me. First ever Mexican American rookie of the year in the NBA. It's going down. I'm predicting it.
make it happen. Peace out.
Over and out.